All right. Hey, everybody. I'm sorry I missed last week. I hope everyone had a wonderful Thanksgiving. Just, yeah, work and holiday stuff just unfortunately made it so it was too difficult to get this up. I hope everyone had a wonderful Thanksgiving. Thank you for coming back to the newest episode of Five Downs with Fannon. As always, I am your host, Spencer Fannon. We got conference championship weekend this week. It's gonna be fun. And it's gonna be all college football this week because of that. I mean, the NFL playoff is picking up. Obviously, it's the time of this recording. Actually, Thursday night football is just kind of kicked off, so we've got that game going. It's probably a playoff eliminator and such, but can't wait to get started on these next five games. But quick history lesson for everyone who is new to the channel, or if you just forgotten about this because I've been gone for a week or so, is you might wonder, why is it called Five Downs with Fannon? Well, five downs in football, there's only four downs, but as a Missouri alum, Five Downs has special recognition or reckoning because in 1990 the Colorado Buffaloes played the Missouri Tigers in Columbia, and the referees gave Colorado an extra down late in the fourth quarter, and Colorado ended up scoring a touchdown on that drive, and that helped get them to a split national title later on that year with the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets, and that's where the five downs come from. So we've got five games this week that we're going to cover, five college football games, all the big conference championship games that have real heavy college football playoff potential. So we're going to talk about Big Ten, and we're going to go actually in order of least impact on the college football playoff to most impact on the college football playoff. So first one is going to be Big Ten, then it's going to be SEC, then it's going to be Big 12, then it's going to be the American, and then finally it's the ACC. So let's get right into it. We're going to go to the Big Ten championship, Ohio State and Indiana for first down. All right, first down, and like I said, we're going straight to the Big Ten. We're going to number one versus number two, and Ohio State facing Indiana in the Big Ten championship game. I put this first, as like I said earlier, we're going in order of least impactful to the college football playoff to the most impactful to the college football playoff. And the reason that the Big Ten conference championship is the least impactful of the college football playoff is both these teams are already in the playoff. I mean, they're 1-2. They've been 1-2 for I think the last three weeks or something like that, and they're going to be in the playoff regardless if they win or lose and stuff. They're not going to drop all the way down from 2 to 12 or 13 or 1 to 13, something like that. Whichever team wins is going to get the number one seed, and then whichever team loses is probably going to get a home playoff game. They're going to be probably 6, 7, 5, 6, or 7, I think, depending on what it is. So, but quick betting breakdown. Going to DraftKings now because that's the official sports book of ESPN now. They don't no longer have ESPN bet. But currently, Ohio State is a 4-point favorite. Over-under set at 47.5. Obviously, both these teams are very complete. Ohio State's defense is probably the best in the country. Indiana's is not very far behind. Ohio State's offense, it's got obviously the two weapons on the outside with Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate. But the running game has come along recently. Obviously, Bo Jackson kind of becoming that bell cow back for Ohio State. Indiana has obviously got really good receivers in Cooper and Surratt. They got a solid backfield with Hemby and Black, I believe, and Mendoza at the helm going against Julian Sand. This game probably decides the Heisman as well as the Big Ten championship. I think Mendoza is like a slight favorite over, slight negative money favorite over Sand. But I think, to be honest, is if either one of these quarterbacks has a good game, they probably win the Heisman. I don't know if anybody below that is going to be really able to make up that much ground. And I mean, looking at this, I mean, it's a tight game. I think obviously bragging rights are on there, even though this game is in the sense of both teams are in the playoff anyway, so there's not a ton to play for in that sense. Neither team is playing for their college football live and such, but I do think that Ohio State wins this game. I think it's going to be close. That 4 scares me. I wish I feel better if it was under the 3 or lower, but I think Ohio State's defense is the best unit on the field, and Indiana has not faced a defense like this. Now, Ohio State's defense, I don't think, has faced an offense like Indiana's. Indiana's got a really good offense and such. I guess the closest would be Oregon, and obviously Indiana held Oregon to only 20 points in their in Indiana's win earlier in the year. But I think Ohio State's got the playmakers to do it. They've got the pass rush that's going to be able to get to Mendoza. So I think I'm not going to be surprised if Indiana wins this game. I'm certainly not going to be surprised if Indiana covers this four number. But I'm going to take Ohio State. I think they've got the star power. I think that they want to. They weren't there last year in the Big Ten championship game. I think that they want to prove that they can do it this year. They can go full on undefeated on their chance to repeat. So I'm going to take Ohio State -4 in the Big Ten championship game. So there's the first game of this show. Second down, we're heading to the SEC. So let's get to it. All right, second down, and we're going to the SEC. This game has somewhat impact on the college football playoff, though it's more because it's only if Alabama loses. Question's going to be, does Alabama still make the college football playoff if they get that third loss? They're 10-2 right now. They lost, obviously, to Oklahoma and to Florida State at the beginning of the year. Georgia only has the one loss and such, and that was to Alabama. So the question is like, okay, does the second loss to does Georgia getting revenge for a regular season win really hurt Alabama? That's going to be an interesting thing for the committee to talk about. So, but quick betting breakdown: we got Georgia is favored by 2.5 as of right now. Over under is set at 48.5. I think both of these offenses are dynamic in different ways. I think Georgia is much more methodically dynamic in the sense they can beat you with various different ways. I think Alabama is much more dynamic in the passing game with Bernard, with Ryan Williams, tight end and stuff. Their running attack is not very good. Georgia's is much more of a ground pound. They will be able to control the clock, though they have some weapons on the outside. It's not the star names that Alabama does, but they still got guys on the outside like Branch, like Dylan Bell, stuff like that. So I think I'm going to take actually the over in 48.5. It's a high number for these two teams and stuff, but I just think that neither of these defenses are as good as they have been for these programs in the past. And I just think that the offenses are going to be able to score enough to get over that number of 48.5 and stuff. I don't know. I mean, I probably lean Georgia here a little bit, even though I think the quarterback is Alabama has the better quarterback, obviously with Ty Simpson. Gunnar Stockton has been very good this year, but I think that, and I think, but he doesn't have to be the winner or the main reason that Georgia would win. If you're going, I think Ty Simpson has to be great for Alabama to win. I don't know if Gunnar Stockton has to be fantastic or great for Georgia to win, because I think that they've got enough weapons and a game plan outside of that, outside of their quarterback. He can affect the game, I think, in more ways than Ty Simpson can. Ty Simpson is much more of a pure pocket passer. Get out. He can scramble around. He showed that in the Auburn game and stuff, but I think he'd much rather pick you apart from the pocket. Gunnar Stockton can do that, but he brings a little more mobility with the legs, more toughness running and such. And I think that's where Alabama has kind of struggled this year in the rush defense. So I think Georgia is going to be able to just trying to kind of wear down on Alabama's defense. So, but again, like if Alabama loses, are they going to take a 3-loss Alabama team? I believe Alabama is. Let me pull up their rankings. Should have done this before. It's a schedule. Well, Alabama's 9, so they're right on the edge. If they lose, if they get blown out by Georgia, then you really got to feel scared for Alabama. I think if it's a close game, because of the revenge factor, they probably sneak in, but they might be that 11 seed and such, which would be they'd be a scary as hell 11 seed and such. But it's gonna be interesting, because that's like, do you put in an Alabama now? Yeah, do you put in a 3-loss Alabama over a 2-loss Miami or a 2-loss Notre Dame, depending on how the other dominoes fall, et cetera? I mean, I think there was somebody on from ESPN. I think it might have been Reese Davis or somebody who was saying like, "Oh yeah, we don't talk about name brands. We talk about the teams on the field." It's like, well, no, you talk about name brands. Don't try and kid yourself, ESPN. You want the name brands. You want the Alabama, the Georgia, the Notre Dame, heck, even Texas if you could get it in there and stuff like that. So, I think that's going to be the main key. I think it's if Alabama can control Georgia's running attack, that's going to be the main key that they can win that game. And so if I do think that their points are going to be scored. I think it's going to be like a 27-24, something like that type of game. Not super high scoring, but a relatively high scoring game for college. So, but yeah, that's second down. Again, taking the over 48.5 and stuff. So let's head on to the third down. We're going to the big state of Texas for the Big 12. All right, third down time. We're going to Texas and we're going to the Big 12 championship. This is where we start to see a little bit of chaos could happen if one team wins. Yeah, it's BYU versus Texas Tech. This is a rematch of an earlier game in the regular season when Texas Tech dominated a win against BYU 0. It's the first game on the Saturday slate. Texas Tech beat BYU at home 29-7, and it really wasn't even that close and such. But current odds are Texas Tech is a 12.5-point favorite. So they're showing that most odd makers think that Texas Tech is going to win handily. Over-under set at 49.5. Now, I think the big thing with this game is if BYU wins, they'll get the conference bid for the Big 12. And I do think that Texas Tech will still get in, even though they'll have two losses. Their other losses at Arizona State earlier in the year. I believe it was on so mid-October. Yeah, it was mid-October, and it was at the end of the it was like 30 seconds left. They gave up a touchdown to Arizona State. So that's going to be interesting. It's like that's probably where our chaos really first starts, because if BYU wins, it probably takes one of the bids away. It might take a bid away from Notre Dame. Might take a bid away from Alabama. If Alabama were to lose the SEC title game, it might take a bit. It's certainly going to take a bit away from one of the group of 5 teams and such. So that's going to be really interesting. Now, I don't think that's going to happen. I'm taking Texas Tech and minus 12.5. I think that their defensive line is fantastic. It's one of the best in the country. I think they've got a really solid offense. Morton is an underrated quarterback, and they've got a really good backfield and such. But I think that they know that they're going to win, and I think that they want to prove it. And I think they want to go for one of those buys, because Texas Tech currently, I believe, is number 5 in the country. No, they're 4th. I'm sorry, they're 4th right now. They want to stay at that 4. They want to get the bye. They want to get they want to get one of those first 4 round picks, or first 4 slots to get to have that bye going in. Even though, I mean, to be honest, getting a home playoff game would be awesome. I mean, that atmosphere in Lubbock would be going nuts. But I think that they want to get that, put themselves in that position to have that bye. So I don't think they're going to take the foot off the gas here. I think that they're going to, I don't know about roll, but I could see this easily being a 2-touchdown or more game for Texas Tech. So, but if BYU somehow wins, I mean, then you really start, the dominoes start falling and the chaos starts falling, which is what we love about college football as well. But that's third down. So now we are really starting to get into some chaos here. But let's head to fourth down, and we're going to the American. All right, we're in fourth down time, and we're in the American. This is the probably where the group of 5 representative is going to come from. You've got number 24 North Texas facing number 20 Tulane. North Texas is only got 1 loss. Tulane's got 2. So if North Texas wins, they're certainly in it. They lost to South Florida earlier in the year. Tulane has their 2 losses are they lost to Ole Miss, which is not a bad loss, and then they lost to UTSA, which is a bad loss and stuff. So that'll be the question. North Texas is favored by 2.5 right now. The over under is set at 66.5, which is just insane, even for a college game. That's more like you see in the at the beginning, like those non-con conference games. Now, North Texas has got a really underrated quarterback. I believe it's Drew Mestemaker. If I pronounce that right, I mean he's got 3,800 yards. He's got a 7-1 touchdown interception ratio. He's 29 touchdowns, 4 picks. So, and North Texas is much more. I'm sorry, Tulane is much more of a ground and pound team. They're going to try and control the clock. I think that this game is going to be points because I think both teams are going to want to. They're going to obviously winner. I think gets into the college football playoff. Winner gets the Group of Five bid. And I think both teams are going to want to prove that they can hang with the big boys. So they're going to want to put up points. So I'm actually, I'm sorry, I'm not, they're going to put up points, but I think that they want to, they do want to not give up. They want to put up their own points. They want to win big and stuff. But I'm taking the under 66.5. I just think that number's too big. I think it's going to be a relatively close game, but I don't know if it's going to be like a 37-33, something like that, or 35-31 type game. It might be that would still go under barely, but I think both teams are going to want to focus on not making mistakes in that sense, and I think that's going to lead to maybe not conservative play calling, but I think that they want to make sure that like, okay, we're gonna win this. We want to win. So we're gonna make sure we control the ball, don't make mistakes, and we get and we keep the score relatively low. So I think that number of 66.5 is just too much, and so, and I don't know who wins this. I probably lean maybe North Texas. I haven't watched enough of the American, so I can't really tell, and so, but that number of 66.5 is just too high. In a college conference game with the stakes is this high. So there you go. That's fourth down. So fifth down, and we're going to really the crazy chaos maker that we could. So in fifth down with the Atlantic Coast Conference, the ACC. So let's get to it. All right, fifth down time, and this is where the real chaos could happen. And so I probably actually should have switched third and fourth down because I think the Big 12, depending on how that goes, would have more of a chaos impact than I think the American. But ACC, yeah, Duke, 5-loss Duke facing off against Virginia. This is football. This is not basketball. This is football. And stuff. And okay, current odds. Virginia is a 4-point favorite. Over under set at 57.5 as of right now. And man, chaos could be crazy if Duke wins. Because if Duke wins, they are currently not ranked. So if Duke wins, you could see the ACC not getting a spot, depending on how the other stuff goes. Because I believe the bylaws is it's the top 5. It's the top 5 highest ranked conference champions. Now, if Duke wins, they'll probably jump into the top 25. Barely. It'll be like 24 or 25. But is that going to be enough to beat out on like a James Madison, who's currently top 25, who's number 25? They play in their conference championship against Troy, and they're, I think, like a 20-point favorite, right? Yes, I'm looking at their 23.5-point favorite. So if Duke wins this game, the ACC could get completely knocked out of the college football playoff. And that will be really crazy because then you could see either two Group of 5 teams make it. You could certainly see Alabama make it, regardless of their outcome. You could see arguably if BYU were to win the conference championship, you could see two Big 12 teams make it. I mean that's the real craziest. Now, I don't think that's going to happen. I'm taking Virginia -4 in this game, but I wouldn't mind losing that bet if we get the chaos, because chaos is awesome in sports, especially in college sports, at least on the field in results, not like chaos in the crazy, like bad things happening off the field, stuff like that. But I kind of want to see, I kind of want to see craziness, like a March Madness type, just Cinderella run, just nuts or something like that. But I don't think it's going to happen. I think Virginia's going to win this game. Um, I don't know if this is the type of year where we could see that because it's because Duke, while is they're good, they kind of just got in on the fact that they, I think they went what 6-2 in conference, right? Yeah, they went 6-2, but they got it because of like a whole bunch of tiebreakers. It's like they had five losses. The teams ahead of them in the conference had 3, 4, 2, and 4. Aside from Virginia, they were all part of this group tied group of five teams with two losses in the ACC. So I think, I mean, obviously other things have to happen for some other craziness, but I think Duke doing it could knock the ACC completely out of the college football playoff, or it could allow Miami to sneak in, and they could. I wonder if actually the committee's probably rooting for, might be rooting for Duke to win because then they could be able to put Miami and Notre Dame both in the playoff and stuff, and not have to worry about the head to head thing that they've been dealing with for the last like 3-4 weeks and such, but. Yeah, I mean, I'm going Virginia in this. I think they're the better team. I think that they've got the better shot there. Both teams are playing for something, but Virginia's playing for more because this would guarantee them a playoff spot and such. So, going with that. But there you go. That's college football conference championship. Five downs with Fannon show. Quick recap. We got Indiana, Ohio State. I'm taking Ohio State -4 in that game. SEC championship is Georgia versus Alabama. I'm taking the over 48.5 in that game. Big 12 championship is BYU and Texas Tech. I'm taking Texas Tech -12.5 in that. AAC, American Athletic Conference, is next. North Texas against Tulane. I'm taking the under in 66.5 in that game. And then fifth down is the Atlantic Coast Conference. Duke, Virginia. I'm taking Virginia -4. So we'll see how it goes. We've climbed back closer to 500 the last week or the last show. Went 4-1 in that one. So hopefully we can continue that roll going. Get over 500, which would be awesome going into bowl season and the end of the regular season in college in NFL and stuff. So. But yeah, until next time, thank you again for watching. Please leave a like, subscribe, leave a comment. Really helps the channel. Let me know if there are any games that you want me to take a look at and stuff. I'm sure we'll do the bowl games. We'll do the college football playoff games. But let me know if there's any smaller bowl games you want me to look at or the NFL games that are coming up and stuff. But yeah, please, again, thanks again for watching. This is Spencer Fannon signing off, and have a great week and enjoy conference championship weekend. It's gonna be a great weekend of football.